Have you ever reached out in your lowest moment, only to be met with silence from those who once called you their closest friends? It's a quiet kind of betrayal, not loud, not cruel, just absence. And in that silence, a question begins to form. Was it ever real, or was it all an unspoken agreement built on usefulness and convenience? Machiavelli once wrote that behind every bond lies an interest. The Stoics would not argue, they would only ask you to look again, this time with clear eyes. Friendship, as we often imagine it, may be more fantasy than fact. What we call connection is often transaction. What we call loyalty is often alignment. And what we call empathy can be strategy in disguise. In this video, we're going to explore this unsettling but necessary truth, not to harden you, but to awaken you, to offer you clarity, not bitterness. So if you've ever questioned why people drift away when you lose your value, stay with me. What we uncover may not be easy, but it will be real. And sometimes, truth is the most respectful thing we can offer ourselves. 1. Friendship is an invisible contract. From the earliest days of our lives, we are taught to believe in beautiful illusions, that there are people who will stand by us simply because of who we are. That friendship is born from pure affection, untouched by advantage or ambition. That some souls are so deeply in sync they transcend distance, status, or time. These tales are comforting. They offer us hope, belonging, and warmth. They are useful as poetry, as dreams, perhaps even as spiritual ideals. But when we confuse these ideals with reality, we do not awaken. We drift further into sleep, and in that sleep, we are used. Machiavelli, the master of clarity in a world full of masks, never bowed to such illusions. He saw what most choose to ignore, that behind the word friendship often lies something far less romantic and far more real. A contract, not written, not spoken, but lived. A silent exchange of benefits disguised as affection. He warned the wise ruler to avoid dependencies that cannot be repaid with equal strength, and he was right. In the real world, no one does anything without reason, even those who call themselves friends. When someone is close to you, examine what they gain. Perhaps your presence gives them importance. Perhaps your energy makes them feel less alone. Maybe your influence, your mind, your strength, or your calm becomes their refuge. That is not inherently wrong. It is simply human, as the Stoics taught. Nature does not deceive us. Our error is in assigning it more purity than it offers. Friendship in its purest, selfless form may exist, but if it does, it is as rare as gold found in untouched soil. What exists more often is utility wrapped in warmth, self-interest veiled by smiles. If you doubt this, ask yourself honestly, when was the last time someone stood by you after you had lost everything, after you were no longer useful, after your name no longer opened doors? If your answer is silence, then perhaps what you called friendship was simply convenience given a gentle name. Watch carefully. Observe who shows up when your fortunes rise, and who vanishes when they fall. Pay attention to those who celebrate your success, but disappear in your struggle. Count the praises you receive when you shine, and the silence that greets you when you stumble. This is not cynicism, it is awareness. A Stoic does not turn away from harsh truths. He faces them, not with bitterness, but with discipline and clarity. What you will find is a pattern, one older than history itself. Human beings form alliances based not on ideals, but on need. And in this age, the masks have only grown more sophisticated. We call it connection. We call it community. But what we often experience is transaction. Shared moments that last only as long as the benefit does. Smiles that fade when usefulness ends. Words of support that vanish when there is nothing left to gain. Machiavelli knew this. And though many label him cold, his insight was simply precise. He observed that trust is not eternal, that affection dissolves when power disappears, and that loyalty is often a fair weather companion. He understood something the Stoics would affirm: do not rely on external relationships to define your peace. Epictetus reminded us that what is not within our control cannot be the source of our stability. So why expect permanent loyalty in a world ruled by impermanence? Let us be honest. When someone tells you they will always be there, what they often mean is, as long as it is easy, as long as it benefits me, as long as it fits my plans. This is not cruelty, it is nature unmasked, and to live well within it. You must see it clearly. You must test friendship the same way iron is tested by fire. Let loss come, let hardship appear, and watch who remains, not the one who agrees with you in comfort, but the one who stands beside you in cost, not the one who flatters you in public, but the one who speaks truth to you in private. There is no need to despair in this. For the Stoic, the loss of illusion is not a wound, it is a liberation. When you stop expecting people to love you without reason, you begin to cultivate a rare form of strength. You learn to give without attachment, to serve without dependency, to walk alongside others without leaning on them for your identity. This is true self-respect, not the loud pride of ego, but the quiet resilience of a mind that sees things as they are and remains unshaken. So, let us reframe what we call friendship. Let us name it for what it is: a temporary alliance, an invisible contract, a mutual benefit. And when we are fortunate enough to find someone who remains after the benefit is gone, who chooses us not because of advantage, but despite the lack of it, then we can say with cautious hope, perhaps this one is real, but do not count on it, because what is rare must never be the foundation of your peace. Expect nothing. Accept everything, and build your inner life so powerfully that when others walk away, nothing inside you breaks. That is how a Stoic prepares for the loneliness of truth. Not with bitterness, but with mastery. At the end of the day, if friendship exists at all, it exists where there is sacrifice, where there is risk, where there is a decision to stand firm when nothing is left to gain. And that kind of friendship is so rare that the wise do not seek it. They simply recognize it when it comes. And they do not cling, they honor it. And then they let it be. That is the quiet power of someone who no longer needs illusions to feel whole. 2. Manipulation runs beneath every bond. Let us now turn to a truth most people avoid. Not because it is hidden, but because it is too uncomfortable to face. Manipulation is not the exception in human relationships. It is the rule quietly operating beneath every word, every gesture, every alliance we form, even among those we call friends, even in moments we label sincere. There exists an unspoken calculus, a glance held longer than needed, a compliment timed with precision, a moment of silence that carries the weight of expectation. These are not accidents, they are maneuvers, some as gentle as a sigh, others as sharp as a blade, but all of them designed to sway, to guide, to extract. This is not the darkness of betrayal, it is simply the structure of human interaction when stripped of illusion. Machiavelli did not condemn this structure, he merely named it. He understood that the world is not governed by pure intentions, but by clear interests. He did not see manipulation as evil. He saw it as a necessary function of survival, a form of persuasion that shapes outcomes when brute force is not available. He taught that the wise do not lament the presence of manipulation. They learn to recognize it, master it, and use it with restraint and intention. Just as a skilled general uses terrain, or a disciplined Stoic uses time, the strategist uses perception. And this is where modern friendship often fails the test. Because we mistake affection for freedom, not realizing we're being shaped by the invisible forces of expectation and benefit. To manipulate, in its truest form, is not to deceive. It is to observe closely what others want, fear, hope for, and to engage with those forces in a way that serves your purpose. This is not cruelty, it is precision, it is influence without force, and it is present in nearly every so-called friendship. The one who flatters you before asking for help, the one who becomes distant just long enough for you to come chasing, the one who remembers your kindness only when they need it again. None of this is new, none of it is accidental. It is the language of influence, learned not through books, but through repetition, and most people speak it fluently, even if they pretend not to. Take, for example, the friend who says, "I was thinking about you the other day," but you know they have never once called when you were in trouble. What they want now is not connection, but access. They remind you of your past kindness because they are preparing to ask for something in the future, or the one who gives you a gift with a smile, but behind the smile waits an unspoken debt. These are not just social behaviors, they are forms of leverage. And when you cannot see them for what they are, you become the one being moved on the board, not the one playing the game. Machiavelli would say that he who does not see the hidden structure of human relations will always be used by those who do. And the Stoic would agree. For what is clarity but the ability to see what truly is, rather than what we wish it to be? Epictetus warned against being naive in judgment. He taught us to distinguish what is within our control from what is not. The actions of others, their motives, their tactics, will always remain beyond our grasp, but our awareness of them, our ability to remain unmoved by their surface charm, that is within our reach. And it is not just a tool, it is armor. The wise man does not assume sincerity, he tests it. He listens to what is said, but watches what is done. He does not cling to words of praise if they are followed by requests. He knows that even generosity can be a form of control when it is given with strings. The Stoic learns to dwell in truth, even if it isolates him, because he would rather stand alone in clarity than be surrounded by illusions. And this is the heart of mastery in relationships, to walk through them with your eyes open, to participate without being entangled, to care, yes, but never to depend. Manipulation, when seen clearly, loses its power. It thrives only in blindness, only in the hearts of those who still want to believe that all attention is affection, that all support is selfless, that all bonds are sacred. But let us not live as children in a world of wolves. Let us not confuse kindness with virtue, or silence with peace. The Stoic understands that the appearance of good does not guarantee its substance. He observes, he waits, he tests, and in doing so, he frees himself from the invisible chains others try to wrap around him. And what about those who say this view is too harsh, too mechanical, too cold? Let them continue to be surprised when people change. Let them suffer each time loyalty fades, but not you. You will not be surprised, because you saw the pattern. You understood that behind every bond, there is a subtle push, a slight tug, a gentle turn of the wheel, and you did not resent it. You simply did not mistake it for purity. At the end of the day, to live without being manipulated is not to live without others. It is to walk beside them with eyes open, with a heart disciplined by truth, not softened by fantasy. The world will not change its nature. People will continue to use influence, consciously or not, but you will not be the one who confuses the net for the ocean. You will know where you swim, and that alone gives you a freedom most will never taste. 3. Power dictates loyalty. Perhaps the most piercing truth Machiavelli offered the world is this: all human relationships are governed by the dynamics of power. Not some, not most, all. This is not to say that every bond is aggressive or manipulative in tone. But beneath every interaction, every conversation, every display of closeness, there is a current. Sometimes it flows openly, like in a workplace chain of command. Other times, it is hidden, like in the silent tension between lovers, or the deference a friend gives to another who carries more social influence. But the current is always there. It does not rest. It shapes loyalty, trust, admiration, and even silence when you are respected. It is often because others perceive you as possessing some form of advantage. That advantage may be emotional, spiritual, material, or social. Your clarity, your confidence, your charisma, your presence, all of these carry weight, and that weight translates to power. People gravitate toward what benefits them. They align with those whose presence lifts them, protects them, or offers them an edge. When someone avoids you, it is often because your presence disrupts their position or challenges their comfort. When someone flatters you, it's frequently because they believe your favor is valuable. None of this is evil. It's simply the structure of human conduct when stripped of illusion. Now consider what happens when that power fades. You lose a title, a position, a fortune, or the strength you once had. Watch closely. Many who once called you brother or friend will grow distant, not always out of cruelty, but out of instinct. Machiavelli would have told you plainly, loyalty diminishes as perceived value declines. It is one of the cruelest insights into human behavior, and yet one of the most liberating, because once you understand it, you no longer suffer under false expectations. This is not a call to bitterness, it is a call to lucidity. The Stoics never taught us to run from truth, they taught us to stand with it. Pain from truth is temporary, but pain from illusion is sustained by repetition. It feeds on denial, to live enslaved by the idea that friendship must be pure, unshaken, and everlasting is to chain yourself to a fantasy, and fantasies break hard when tested by reality. Machiavelli did not write to comfort the soft-hearted. He wrote to sharpen the mind. He sought not to harden us, but to free us, to untangle us from the unrealistic ideals that leave us vulnerable to betrayal. When you accept that relationships are often built on interest, mutual use, and unspoken power structures, you do not become cold, you become clear, and from clarity, action is born. You begin to see the movement behind the smile, the meaning behind the silence, the direction behind every gesture. You see the board, and the players, and the positions, and when you see the board, you're no longer a piece, you are a player. Or perhaps, at times, simply an observer, but no longer the one being moved. To say that friendship does not exist is not to strip life of meaning. It is to strip away illusion. There is connection, there is respect, there is mutual admiration. But these rarely exist in isolation. They are often accompanied by strategic alignment, convenience, or hidden dependence. And that is not shameful. It is simply the nature of the game. True friendship, if it exists, is the kind that survives when all benefit is gone. When the light dims, the resources dry up, and there is nothing left to give but presence itself. That kind of loyalty is rare, so rare that it should never be assumed, only tested, only proven, and when it is proven, treasure it, not as the standard, but as the exception. Machiavelli's true gift was not cynicism, but awakening. He taught us to accept the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. He did not demand that we distrust everyone. He invited us to trust only with wisdom, to walk with our eyes open, to recognize that even in the most calculated world, something unexpected can still exist, a bond that resists advantage, a loyalty that endures weakness, a human presence that defies the rules. But you must never build your inner stability on such rare ground, as Epictetus warned. Do not rely on what is not within your control. Do not build your peace on someone else's commitment. Let it be a blessing, not a foundation. And that shift in perspective gives you your freedom. When the mask falls, when the favor fades, you will not fall apart. You will stand, because you no longer needed the illusion. You saw the truth, and you chose to live within it. And now we come to you. If you are still here, still listening, then this message was not just about friendship. It is about you, about how you view others, and, more importantly, how you protect your peace. To trust without discernment is not courage. It is recklessness. To open your life to others without clarity is to invite chaos in a noble disguise. But the Stoic way is different. It does not close the door to people. It opens the door with boundaries. It gives affection with awareness. It offers presence, not dependency. And when betrayal comes, it does not break you. It reveals who was never truly aligned. Even Aristotle, that great voice of virtue, knew this. He named 3 kinds of friendship: one for pleasure, one for usefulness, and one for virtue. And the last, he said, was the rarest. Even he, the philosopher of character and ethics, knew that most relationships serve a function, and only a few reach the level of moral beauty we call virtue. So, why then do we treat this rare jewel as if it were common? Why do we expect every friend to meet the standard of the exceptional? Because the comforting lie is easier than the painful truth. But now you know the truth. You know the game. And those who know the game do not fall for it. They move with grace, with calm, with purpose, and they wait, not for affection without interest, but for clarity, the kind that sees clearly and chooses wisely. That is not pessimism, that is power, Stoic power, yours. 4. The strategy behind empathy. In today's world, friendship has become less of a bond and more of a performance. We see it everywhere: smiles posed for photos, likes exchanged like currency, public comments dripping with affection yet lacking presence in private moments. Friendship is now social capital. You promote me, I promote you. You make me visible, I return the favor. But the moment you fall silent, the moment your life stops being convenient or interesting, so do they. Where are these warm words when the crisis hits? Where are those familiar names when your world begins to shake? The answer is simple. What you witnessed was not loyalty. It was alignment, not affection, but strategy. Empathy has become a word that everyone loves to use, but what most forget is that empathy, too, can be wielded like a tool, a sharp one. Just because someone listens to your pain does not mean they care. Just because someone supports you in public does not mean they would stand beside you in private. Many speak the language of compassion, not to serve others, but to maintain relevance. They want to be seen as caring. They want to be praised as emotionally wise. But behind the soft voice may lie a sharp calculation. They know that empathy sells, that sensitivity attracts, that showing up when it's easy earns credit. And so they offer it. Just enough to appear genuine, but never enough to inconvenience themselves. Does this make them evil? No. It makes them human, just as the Stoics taught. The wise man does not blame nature for being what it is. He observes, understands, and then chooses his conduct wisely. Even love, romantic love, often follows this same path. Two people are drawn together by desire, mystery, the spark of something sacred. They share words, warmth, promises. But remove the advantage, remove the beauty, the power, the success. And suddenly, the closeness fades. Not because of betrayal, but because the terms of the unspoken agreement have changed. It is not treason, it is balance reconfiguring itself. We must not confuse this with doom. The point is not to abandon trust, but to place it wisely. Human connection is often built on shared benefit. That benefit may be emotional, intellectual, material, or symbolic, and there is no shame in that. What weakens us is not the presence of interest, but the denial of it. When you understand that survival instincts often drive even the most polished interactions, you are no longer surprised when people disappear. You begin to understand the terrain you are walking. So how should one live in such a world? The answer is clarity, and clarity gives birth to peace. Do not waste time condemning those who leave. Simply understand them. Recognize who is present because it benefits them, and who remains when there is nothing left to gain. Do not expect loyalty from those who lose nothing if you fall. Do not give your full presence to those who treat it as common. Rarity increases value, and you must protect your presence as a scarce resource. Do not aim to build perfect friendships. Seek conscious alliances. Respect those who walk beside you without pretending that every step is selfless. Keep your mind awake even when your heart is open. Build relationships not on illusion, but on mutual value. If one day you find someone who remains by your side without asking for anything in return, protect that person like a sacred fire, but do not expect it from everyone. Expect interest, expect strategy, and let your own conduct be guided by the same clarity, not manipulation, but mastery, not coldness, but composure. To live with such insight is not to lose hope, it is to elevate it, because now you are no longer a pawn in someone else's emotional game. You are a free and rational being, moving through the world with understanding, discipline, and restraint. That is the Stoic path. Not to reject others, but to walk among them without illusion. And when you finally see the game, you can choose not just how to play, but whether to play at all. True friendship does not shine when things are easy. It reveals itself when everything is stripped away. No benefit, no advantage, just presence. And that kind of loyalty is not common. It is sacred. It is the exception in a world built on convenience. So yes, understand the game, accept its rules, but never let it close your heart to the rare and the real. Because even in a world ruled by interest, the human spirit still makes space for what cannot be explained. If this message stirred something in you, subscribe for more reflections like this and tell me in the comments, simply found one. Because your honesty may give someone else the clarity they need. Keep seeking truth with clarity, not bitterness. And when the next storm comes, may you face it not with fear, but with wisdom. The next video will be waiting.